This episode, wow, there was some foreshadowing I never noticed before, and I don't want to get into exact details because I don't want to risk spoiling anyone, but I'll just say the little stuff, just something that I think that just holds so much weight, and that would be the scene with Endeavor and All Might. When All Might is just sitting there, and I watched the Japanese dub with the English subtitles, FYI, because I know there is a dub that's running too. But basically when All Might walks up to Endeavor, he's trying to have a chat. He's like, "Hey, Endeavor, how you doing?" He's just trying to talk to him. He's like, "It's been a while since we chatted." We could see that Endeavor from his, exchange with All Might, that he doesn't really like All Might. Like, he legit just does not like All Might. You can see the way he just expresses himself, the way he tries to get away from All Might. He just doesn't like being around him at all. And All Might's just trying to have a casual conversation with the dude and all that. And he's like, "Hey, how can I raise the next generation of heroes?" And then Endeavor looks at him and all that, and he's like, "You look clueless as ever." And then he just walks off, and All Might, he looks down, he's like, still holding a smile, he's like, "Sorry." That scene, oh my god, like, Horikoshi, like, my boy, Horikoshi, like, yo, like, if you wanted, oh my god, like, okay, that hit me, like, that really hit me, like, oh my god, the feels right there, like, whoa. Damn! Okay, so with that being said, Todoroki and Izuku have their convo. We get to see what Todoroki was asking Izuku in the first place, and we come to find out a little bit more about Todoroki. So Todoroki, this man has been through a lot. We didn't get a flashback or anything like that, but we do know some details now, thanks to this episode. Todoroki has had a very bad life, and we come to find out the reason why he doesn't like his father, or why he doesn't want to use his fire side. It makes sense now. So, we found out about something, which is world building, that there is something called quirk marriages. It's to where, a long time ago, when, the second and third generation came around, like, when quirks were being really a big thing at the time, many people had quirks popping up. Many would look at it like, wait a minute, this person has a really good quirk, I have a good quirk, I want to be with this person before we can have a child, that has an even greater quirk, just pass down this quirk that gets, really strong over many generations. That's kind of what you see going on right there with, what Endeavor did for Todoroki. Endeavor, he's the second place hero, okay? He's number 2, and All Might's number 1. He realized after a long period of time, he would never beat All Might. He would never be able to overcome the living legend, which is All Might. He's just that good. He's that good of a hero. Just someone like Endeavor could not beat him. Endeavor realized this. He realized he could not beat All Might, so he thought of the next best thing. You know what? Let's do, quirks, like let's go find, a girl that has a nice quirk, and I'll get with her, have a child, and then I'll have this child beat All Might, and he'll be, the number 1 hero. That's kind of what's going on here. So basically, Endeavor, he's using his child kind of like a tool, just to further his own goals, what he wants to accomplish with his life. What he couldn't really do, he's using his child as like an instrument to accomplish, which just shows that he doesn't really care much about his child. He's only using his child for his own selfish desires. But then it doesn't just stop there. We also have to factor in the mother of Todoroki. So, basically, Endeavor being someone that's very wealthy, someone that had a lot of money and all that, he's second place hero and all that, obviously he has a lot of power. And because of this, he was able to find someone he wanted and also get the person he wanted. He didn't need to force this person to love him. He didn't need that at all. What he needed was just his money. And so all he had to do was, pay off the family members, persuade them in any way, and he could have her. So basically, he didn't really have Todoroki because he loved him, or he wanted a child. He wanted Todoroki just to use as a tool, but he also used Todoroki's mother. He slept with Todoroki's mother and didn't care really about her at all, besides just what she had to give, which was the quirk ability. So, Endeavor, straight up scumbag. Like, you could just say he's a scumbag, but it doesn't just stop there. You gotta factor in from the mother's viewpoint. She basically got, I guess, she got forced against her will to have a child, and when she sees, Todoroki, she sees Endeavor. And so he's like, you see my face? My mother burnt it. And that shows, like, oh god, like, that's awful. That's really dark. Like, that's really dark how his face was burnt like that. Why it looks like that is thanks to his mother, because of what Endeavor did to his mother. So, just a really bad childhood. A lot of revelations when it comes to Todoroki's character, and kind of why he acts like he does. And let's kind of explain why he is trying so hard not to use his fire side. As you can see, he doesn't dislike his mother. Like, he actually does love his mother, you can see, because he uses his ice side. He just doesn't like his father, because his father is the whole reason why his mother acted like that in the first place. And also, why he was given existence in the first place was thanks to his father wanting to just use him. And so, he wants to reject his father's entire ideals. He wants to reject him and basically say, I don't need you at all. He wants to just completely reject everything Endeavor stands for. He wants to become the #1 hero, but not become the #1 hero using Endeavor's ability, his quirk side, for instance, the fire side. That is why Todoroki refuses to use his flame side, is because if he used that to become #1 hero, he's just doing what his father wants him to do. But if he rejects that, and he continues to use his ice side, that would mean that if he became #1 hero with just using ice, his father was just basically shit, and he is better than his father, and he didn't need his side at all. So that's kind of what Todoroki's doing. He's rejecting everything about his father because of what his father stands for and what he wanted to do in the first place. So yeah, that explanation, pretty dark, pretty grim, but I'm going to tell you right now, anime only, this is nothing compared to some of the dark things that happen in this series. So if you think that's really dark, wait till you see later stuff that happens probably in this season of, Boku no Hero Academia. So look forward to that. Anyways, basically, after the entire revelation with Todoroki, he talks to Izuku and he's like, I get the same feeling from you. Like, I get the same emotions that All Might gave me when I saw the man stand up to face those villains in Season 1. You gave me that feeling when you stood up to me and you had this pressure and I had to activate my fire side. He's like, you made me feel like that. And he's like, are you some form of, like, love child? Like, are you the child of All Might or something? And that's kind of what, Todoroki was asking, because, like, there's just no way. Like, why do you seem so similar to All Might? Like, he obviously has an interest in you, he's around you a lot, so most likely has some form of connection to him. And that's kind of what he was probing for, like, what's going on? What's between you and All Might, and why are you so similar to him? Are you related to him, or is there something else going on? And Izuku's like, no, I'm not his love child or anything, I'm not like you, with your situation. But he's like, I just can't say. And so basically from that, Todoroki was able to understand that there is a connection between All Might and Izuku, but he doesn't know what it is. For instance, it most likely isn't because they're related, but there is definitely a connection there. Now, moving on to the next thing, let's talk about the upcoming match. So we have a 1v1 type match going on, and this is going to be pretty exciting. So this is going to be more like the traditional tournament style of 1v1s, what we're getting, and basically, we're going to have these individual characters that have been popping up in Season 2, having the main spotlight and focus. I mean, even a character in this episode that's kind of a support character also got some development in this episode, which, as I've been saying throughout recent episodes of my reviews of Boku no Hero Academia, that all these side characters you see a part of our main class, they do get development. They do get some of the spotlight, and you got to see some of that taking place in this episode, with some of the characters just standing up and saying, he's like, I don't deserve to be here because it was that guy's quirk that actually got me here in the first place. So because of that, he's like, I just don't deserve to be here. I just, as my pride and all that, I just can't. And so, like him and other heroes, they just stood down and said, no, we can't be here, and they just walked off, which is showing development how they have pride. They don't want to just get there thanks to someone else. They're willing to strive to be their own person, to stand out on their own. They don't want someone else just holding their hand throughout the entirety of the event. And so that's kind of what's going on there. And so there was development taking place for some of our support characters. Now, Tetsu, still, he also is back in the tournament. So he's going to be fighting, Kirishima, which that's, oh my god, like, that's going to be great. Like, they both have such similar quirk abilities. Just imagine how it's going to be, these two squaring off against each other. It's basically like Kakuna and Metapod going up against each other in Pokemon. That's basically what it is. So, just Good stuff. So, besides that, we also have at the end with Shinso and Izuku having their match. Now, Shinso, I'm really excited for. I love his character design. I love his personality. I just love everything about the character. He's a really good character, and I'm going to tell you right now, this character you're seeing, okay? This character Shinso, I don't want to spoil anything for anime onlys, but this character is very vital. Very, very, very vital. Like, very vital. Like, I just want to emphasize that enough. Very vital for the world building and future things down the road. I just want to point that out, so don't write this character off as being, irrelevant, not important at all for Boku no Hero Academia. This character is important. That's all I'm going to say, okay? So, now that I've said that, I can make my peace. I think I am done. So, great episode of Boku no Hero Academia. Can't wait to see what happens next. And I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.